Hi, my name is Josh Kinney. I'm a landscape architect with the Central Corridor Design Center.
Hi, my name is Sam Carlson. I'm a program manager with the Central Corridor Design Center.
Hi, I'm Tim Griffin. I'm the director of the Central Corridor Design Center. I think if you think of the street as a path between two points, how that street gets organized for people to use it, whether it be by pedestrians, by cars, by bicycles, etc. And so the walkability part of it is to balance that with the other needs and provide for it. So there's a dimension to it. It really needs to. We talk about it being minimum 10 feet, but ideally 14 feet from the building face to the curb, and that's broken down into the immediate edge of the building, kind of a window shopping area where you can stop and look. A walking lane of about 6 feet. If we're doing the math, that leaves 6 more feet to get to a curb that you can put trees and other kinds of uses. So it's really taking a portion of what we call the street right-of-way and devoting part of that to the walking function.
We do a lot of work with individual developers and individual projects on one site, but one of the things about walkability is that it has to be with the whole neighborhood, and it has to go across one property owner, past the next property owner, and beyond to the next one, so that it's only walkable if you can walk all over the neighborhood, and there's many places to go to. So it really helps our work with each individual project to be able to plug it into a whole that's about creating a whole neighborhood and not a single project.
Through the walkability survey, we can actually get a finer grain sensibility as to actually what those improvements might be, whether it be like the grate on the tree is sticking up a few inches and it makes it impossible for a wheelchair to go through, or similarly how the truncated domes or the pedestrian ramps, if they're functioning like they should, and it's producing that access to people. So it's really key what Tim was saying, and then it led into what Sam said about how our work kind of just disseminates throughout the whole city. So it's kind of a wider approach than just a site scale study. So that's kind of the beauty of something like the walkability survey.
We're sitting in the Ham building right now, this interview, and I think we feel it's a really good example of how a building kind of, the activity of the building kind of is visible and spills out onto the street. I think the other thing about this building is that it has a really high standard of maintenance, and that group owns the sidewalks surrounding it and takes care of that. If you look out, it's not the fanciest of sidewalks in terms of some of the amenities we've talked about, but there's a pretty high standard of maintenance, and I think that sends a message to people, and that is kind of spotty throughout the downtown and along University Avenue. So I think one of the things that I hope to see happen is that it's kind of an old Main Street concept, but that the idea that the proprietor of the store, the owner of the storefront, really kind of takes ownership of the sidewalk immediately out to the curb, and uses it creatively to help their business, uses it to provide kind of seating or amenities for people, but really takes ownership of it in the sense that it's a reflection of their business, and they're proud of their business, they're proud of their home or storefront, and they want to they extend that into kind of an ownership of the sidewalk. Because one of the things that we've seen in terms of maintenance is that the city can maintain to a certain standard, but the places that Sam and Josh talked about that really kind of exceed that, there's a contribution that the kind of the private sector or the property owners have to make to achieve that and to keep it up.